Hello everyone, welcome to today's session of CTMT classes. As we are discussing the third chapter, that is properties of fresh concrete. We were discussing the stages of producing concrete, in which we have completed batching process, mixing, transportation, placing. Okay, in yesterday's class we started with the compaction also. Most of the part of compaction is over and a little bit is remaining. We will complete the compaction, then we'll start with the curing process.
बरं.
Okay, these are the four methods of compaction that we have seen yesterday. In this, we have completed hand compaction and compaction by vibration. In today's session, we will discuss about the compaction by pressure and jolting and compaction by spinning. Then we will move to the curing of concrete. In hand compaction, we have seen that there are three types. First one is hand rodding, in which we will use 1 to 2 meter long rod, and second one is ramming, and third one is tamping. Okay, so these are the three types of hand compaction. Next is compaction by vibration. Okay, in compaction by vibration also we have seen many types. The first type is internal vibrator. Okay, first one is internal vibrator. We have seen in internal vibrator as needle vibrator. Okay, a needle vibrator, it is having 12,000 cycles of vibrations in 1 minute. Okay, so the frequency of vibrator is 12,000 cycles of vibrations in 1 minute, and it is having a diameter of 20 to 75 mm, and length is 25 to 90 centimeter. Okay, these are the range of dimensions of the needle vibrator. Okay, so next one is formwork vibrator, which we have this also we have discussed. It is used for the compaction of columns and walls. We can also compact the precast slabs. Okay, so here what we do is we will clamp the vibrator on the surface of formwork from the outside. Okay, so formwork vibrator is used to vibrate the formwork. Then the vibration will be transferred from the formwork to the concrete which is there inside. Okay, so when the vibrations are transferred from formwork to concrete, then the compaction in concrete will takes place. Understood? So you can see the figure in on your screen. So this is how the vibrations will be given to the concrete for compaction. Next is table vibrator. This also we have seen. So here the vibrator will be clamped. The table will be clamped with the vibrator. Okay, we will attach the vibrator to the table, and all four legs of the table will be having suspension, because when that vibration will be given to the table, we must and should require suspension there. Otherwise, vibration will not take place properly. Okay, you can see it on the screen, and the table vibrators are used to compact the concrete for the concrete cubes. Okay, it is used for the compaction of concrete cubes or any small structure of concrete. Next is platform vibrator. uh, Platform vibrator also we have discussed. It is bigger than the table vibrator. Okay, the difference between table vibrator and platform vibrator is that both are almost the same. The difference is that platform vibrator is a very big table. Okay, platform vibrator is having a big table, and here there will be many vibrators which are connected to the platform vibrator. In the table vibrator there will be only one vibrator which will be attached to the table. As the platform vibrator is a very big table, okay, it is a very big and very long table. Here many number of vibrators will be attached to the platform here. As because the length is more, so more number of vibrators will be required. Okay, for each leg of this platform also there will be suspension. Next is surface vibrator. So this also we have seen. So surface vibrators are used where depth of concrete is very less. Okay, where the concrete thickness is less than 15 centimeter, there it will be very difficult to compact the concrete with the help of needle vibrator and or any other vibrator. So that's why surface vibrators will be used to compact the concrete. Okay, so till here we have completed in the last class. Our next type of compaction is compaction by pressure and jolting. Okay, here the compaction to the concrete will be given by providing the pressure to the concrete. Okay, so this type of compaction is used for hollow block. Okay, it is used for hollow blocks or solid concrete blocks. You might have seen this one, bricks of concrete. In the construction site you might have seen concrete bricks for the construction. Other than the normal standard bricks, the concrete bricks or hollow bricks are also used for the construction. Okay, so these bricks are not as that of the normal bricks, which is red in color and having a dimension of 90 by 90 by 190 centimeters. Those bricks are different and these bricks are different. So these bricks are made up of concrete, and the compaction for these concrete blocks will be given by this one. Compaction for while making these concrete blocks will be given by pressure and jolting. Okay, so you can provide the compaction whether it, for the solid blocks as well as for hollow blocks in this machine. Okay, here there will be a machine to provide the compaction. So inside the machine we will put the brick inside its this one formwork, not formwork, inside its case or molding or mold. Okay, inside that we will put the concrete and we will keep it inside the machine, and it will give the pressure. Okay, it will give the pressure and the compaction takes place. Stiff concrete is vibrated, pressed and given jolts. Okay, so here while preparing the concrete blocks we will use a stiff concrete. Okay, we will use a very stiff concrete which is having very less amount of water. Okay, which is having very less amount of water. So that type of a concrete is placed inside the mold of the concrete block, and it will be given compaction. Means from the top they will give the pressure and they will press it. Okay, what we are doing here is we are pressing from the top surface. Water content is very less here, water cement ratio is less. That's why there is no chance of oozing out of water from the case. Okay, so it is a dry concrete, so that concrete will be placed inside the mold, and from the top it will be pressed for compaction. Okay, they'll press it from the top and they'll give the jolts and the compaction takes place. Okay, stiff concrete is compacted to get dense form and good strength, and good strength is achieved. Okay, for the stiff concrete when you compact it you will get a dense form of concrete block. Okay, dense form means it will be having very it will be hard enough. Okay, it will be hard enough. There will be very less number of voids. Okay, and it will give a very good strength. Okay, so this type of compaction is called as compaction by pressure and jolting. Okay, here we are providing the compaction to the concrete blocks and hollow blocks. Concrete blocks or hollow blocks which are used for the construction. It is used for the construction of walls. Understood? So this is called as compaction by pressure and jolting. Our last type of compaction type is, okay, one more is also there, compaction by spinning. Okay, what do you mean by spin? In cricket you might have heard spinning, spin ball or something like that, right? Spinning is nothing but rotating. It is a rotation. Okay, so this is a new method of compaction. Okay, and it is used for the compaction of concrete pipes. You might have seen big concrete pipes which is used. Okay, big concrete pipes will be used, which is having a diameter of 1 meter, 1.5 meter, like that. Okay, 3 feet, 4 feet, 5 feet diameter of concrete pipes you might have seen. So those concrete pipes, when you are preparing at that time, you should provide some compaction for that. Otherwise you will not get the good strength for the concrete pipe, right? The concrete pipe will be having some thickness, right? So there will be some reinforcement and you will provide the concrete inside that. So how you will provide the compaction to that concrete? Okay, so what you do here is, concrete when spun at high speed gets compaction by centrifugal force. Okay, so you will put the concrete inside the formwork of the concrete pipe. Okay, you will put the concrete inside the formwork of concrete pipe. Okay, concrete mold for the preparation of concrete pipe. So after putting concrete, you will rotate that formwork with a very high speed. Okay, you'll rotate it at high speed. So when you are rotating at high speed, the high speed, because of centrifugal force, the compaction of the concrete takes place. Okay, then your concrete will settle in each and every part inside the formwork. Okay, this is called as compaction by spinning. Here rotation is taking place. Okay, and it is done for the concrete pipes. Okay, it is done for concrete pipes. So this type of compaction is called as compaction by spinning. Next is vibratory roller. Okay, so vibratory roller is also used for the compaction. So road rollers has vibrating system. Okay, road rollers will be having a vibrating system. Roller while moving on road slab gives vibration. Used for lean concrete, that is M10 for road slab. Okay, you see here, this is a roller vibrator. So here front and front wheel of the uh, okay, in many cases front wheel. Okay, front wheel of the vibrator, this one roller will be vibrating. Okay, it is rotating. Okay, it is rotating as well as it is vibrating. Okay, it goes up and down, both rotation as well as vibration, both will be there when you put the concrete on for the road construction. And one more condition is there that you have seen in the previous slide. Okay, so what is the condition? Your concrete should be lean. Okay, it should be almost a dry concrete. The water content in the concrete should be very less. Then only this type of a compaction is used. Otherwise water will ooze out. Okay, so you should have a lean concrete that is of M10 grade. So for that type of a concrete, you can compact by with the help of roller vibrator. Okay, precautions in vibrating concrete. So this was about roller vibrator. Okay, now what are the precautions that we need to take care while vibrating the concrete? Okay, so here some are the some of the precautions that we will discuss, which we need to take care of when we are doing the compaction. Vibrator gets damaged if comes in contact with hard object like formwork or hard concrete. Okay, so when you are vibrating, okay, when you are vibrating with the help of a needle vibrator or internal vibrator, okay, if that vibrator comes in contact with any hard object, whether the hard object may be formwork, whether it is a hard concrete or any other material, if it is hard and if it is coming in contact with your vibrator, so then your vibrator will get damaged. Okay, so vibrator will get damaged, so you have to take care of that. So when you will put the internal vibrator inside the concrete, okay, when you put the internal vibrator inside the concrete, so if you put it for more depth, okay, for example, I'll show you here with the help of figure. Okay, suppose this is a beam. Okay, suppose this is a beam, and inside this beam from the top you are putting the concrete, and suppose you have filled it with the help of, okay, you have filled concrete here. Okay, you have filled concrete here. Now you need to do the compaction. Okay, for the compaction you have put your vibrator here. Okay, suppose this is your vibrator. Okay, so till here only you have to keep it inside the concrete, and the vibration should take place. If this should go beyond this one, okay, if suppose if it come and if you keep it for the full depth, and if it is coming and touching this bottom surface of the beam, which is hard, then what will happen? That then your vibrator will fail, or your vibrator will get damaged. Okay, so you should take care of this. Your vibration should be it should not touch the bottom surface or any hard object, otherwise it will fail. Okay, so next point is switch on when needle is inside fresh concrete mass should conform to IS 2505/1963. Okay, so you should use your needle vibrator when after putting it inside the concrete. Okay, when you put your needle vibrator inside the concrete, after that you have to switch it on. You should not switch on when it is outside the concrete mass. Okay, you should not switch on when it is outside the concrete mass. Okay, so you should switch it on only when it is inside concrete mass. Okay, and you should use your vibrator if your concrete is conforming to the Indian standard 2505/1963. Okay, that is your code book. Okay, there will be many concrete grades. Okay, so you should use your vibrator for them. Degree of compaction can be recognized from rising air bubbles and formation of thin film on the top. Okay, so when you are doing the compaction, when you will get to know that okay, it is completely compacted, for how much time you should do the compaction. Okay, so that is called as degree of compaction, means how much you have done the compaction. So degree of compaction can be known by seeing the rising of air bubbles. Okay, when you put the needle vibrator inside the concrete and when you start the compaction, okay, when you start the compaction, so what will happen is you can see the air bubbles which are coming to the top surface. Okay, you can see the air bubbles which is coming to the top surface of the concrete, and you can see that your concrete is settling down. Okay, your concrete is setting down, it is going down, means it is going it is packing everywhere inside the formwork. Okay, and when those rising bubbles stops, okay, when you see that your rising bubbles have stopped, and you can, if you see a very thin film of water on the top surface of concrete, okay, if you see that a thin layer of water has formed on the surface of concrete, so at that time you will get to know that your concrete is fully compacted now. Okay, you'll understand that your concrete is fully compacted and you can stop the compaction. Understood? So this is how we will get to know about compaction. Our next topic. Okay, so here it completes the compaction. Our next topic is curing of concrete. Okay, next topic is curing of concrete. Curing is defined as making satisfactory moisture content and favorable temperature in concrete after placing the concrete, so that hydration may continue until the strength is developed. Okay, so what is curing now? Curing, most of you people might have heard about curing, right? Curing is nothing but after the construction, after putting the concrete, from the second day itself, you will start giving the water to the concrete. Okay, we understand that that is curing. Okay, but what is actual curing? How it is defined? So curing is nothing but making satisfactory moisture content and favorable temperature. Okay, so curing is nothing but uh, just a minute. Hello, sir. Okay, so curing is nothing but providing satisfactory moisture content, okay, and favorable temperature. After casting the concrete, you should provide sufficient moisture content to the concrete. Okay, the surface of the concrete should be wet. Okay, it should be wet, and you should provide a favorable temperature. Okay, if you are providing a sufficient moisture content, then it will maintain the proper temperature for the concrete. Okay, in concrete after placing the concrete, so that hydration may continue until the strength is developed. Okay, this is also very important. Okay, so hydration may continue until the strength is developed. Okay, what do you mean by hydration? Hydration of concrete is nothing but when you add water to the concrete, when you add water to the cement. Okay, when you add water to the cement, then the cement particles reacts with the water, and there will be hydration reactions which will takes place along with the cement particles. Okay, so when the water or moisture content comes in contact with cement, so there will be hydration reaction, and it will gain the binding property. It will gain the binding property. Whichever is there in contact with the cement, it will bind it with that. Okay, whichever, in the sense, in the concrete we have fine aggregate and coarse aggregate. Okay, in the concrete we are having fine aggregate, that is nothing but sand, and we are having the coarse aggregate. Okay, and cement is there inside, and we are putting the water. So when water is coming in contact with the cement particles, then there will be hydration reactions in the cement particle, and as fine aggregate and coarse aggregate is there along with the cement, so it will bind them together. Okay, so cement particles will bind them together, and it will make a hard mass. That is nothing but your hard concrete. Okay, now for these hydration reactions, okay, this hydration reaction which will start when your water comes in contact with cement, right? So to maintain these hydration reactions, you should give the curing to the concrete. Okay, so that the hydration reactions in the concrete, okay, in the concrete means it will be connected with the cement particles. So if you want that, if that hydration reaction should run efficiently, means you should provide curing to the concrete. Providing curing to the concrete is nothing but providing sufficient moisture content to the concrete and providing a favorable temperature. Understood? Curing is nothing but providing moisture content and providing sufficient temperature. And why it is given moisture content and favorable temperature? To maintain the hydration reactions. If the hydration reactions are running efficiently, then there will be good strength which will develop in the concrete. Okay, it will gain a good strength. Understood? So this is called as curing. Okay, curing is required immediately after placing the concrete. Okay, curing is required immediately after placing the concrete. When you place the concrete into its formwork, okay, so it will be in a plastic condition, means your concrete will be still in a workable condition. It is not hard still. Okay, and it will be having water content already. Okay, there will be water content already which is there in the concrete. Okay, so you need not to provide extra water soon after placing the concrete inside the formwork. You need not to provide extra water from the top for providing curing soon after putting the concrete inside the formwork. We have to wait until whatever the concrete which is there inside the concrete will get vanished. Okay, so that water which is there inside the concrete will be used for hydration reactions. Okay, then when that concrete gains initial strength, okay, so then you will remove the formwork. Okay, when it reaches the initial strength, it will become a little hard. Okay, it will gain some strength, so then you will remove the formwork. Okay, then after that you have to provide the you should give the curing. Okay, though the curing is there inside the concrete soon after putting the concrete inside the formwork, but at that time already moisture content is there, then again you have to put the extra water when it gains initial strength. Okay, then hydration reactions will continue because of the curing you have provided. Okay, during hydration, heat of hydration is released. Okay, so when the hydration reactions are taking place inside concrete, okay, when the hydration reactions are taking place inside the concrete, at that time some heat is released, and that heat is called as heat of hydration. Okay, it is called as heat of hydration. Concrete delivers its strength by the hydration of cement particles. Okay, so how concrete delivers the strength? When the hydration reactions of the cement particles takes place. As I told you, when water comes in contact with cement particle, it will start the hydration reaction, and whatever the strength in concrete you are getting, it is because of hydration reactions of cement particles. Okay, hydration is a continuous and long time process. Okay, so this hydration is a continuous and it is a long time process. So initially the hydrations will be at a very high rate, and later on the speed of hydration decreases. It might be there in the next slide. Okay, here it is. Rate of hydration is fast immediately after making the concrete. Okay, so when you make the concrete, or when the when the water comes in contact with the cement particle, the rate of hydration or the speed of hydration will be very fast. But as the time goes on and as your concrete gains strength, are you able to see the screen?
Okay, sir.
Can you please speak? Can you see the screen? I'm not able to hear you.
Okay, sir.
Please text me in the chat box. There is a problem with this Zoom setting, so I'm not able to hear you if I don't connect the earphone. Okay, fine. Okay, if this audio or video or any screen share is not visible, then text me. Okay. So what I was telling is, okay, rate of hydration is fast when you add water to the cement soon after the addition of water to the cement or in the concrete. But this rate of hydration or the speed of hydration decreases as the time goes on. Okay, theoretically 0.23 water cement ratio is required for hydration. 0.23 water cement ratio. It means water divided by cement is equal to 0.23. Okay, it is 0.23. Okay, so this much is required for hydration theoretically. Then 0.15 water cement ratio is required for filling voids in gel. It means, what do you mean by gel? Gel is nothing but a cement paste. Okay, so if there are any voids, okay, if any voids are there, or if any air bubbles are there inside the concrete, and if your water cement ratio is 0.15, it means that amount of water is less and amount of cement is more. Okay, but here compared to 0.23, in 0.23 amount of water is more and cement is less compared to 0.15. Why? Because water is in numerator and cement is in denominator. Okay, so this value increases when water content increases, and this value keeping the cement same, and this value decreases when the amount of cement content increases by keeping the water content same. Okay, so this is a normal or general mathematics, right? So if the water cement ratio is 0.15, then because of hydration products, if there are any voids or air voids inside the concrete, so that also will get filled because of hydration product. Total 0.38 water cement ratio is optimum. Okay, it means you add 0.23 plus 0.15, you will get 0.38. Okay, 0.23 is required for hydration and 0.15 is required for filling the air voids. So 0.38 water cement ratio is optimum. Okay, if you are preparing a concrete, so if you want to get a good strength, use a water cement ratio of 0.38. Okay, you can use 0.4, 0.45 also, depending on the strength of concrete that you need and the grade of mix design. Okay, but optimum is 0.38. In field condition, water evaporates and available water quantity reduced for hydration. Okay, so extra water is given by curing. Okay, so what will happen in the field condition? Whatever the water is there inside the concrete, it will get evaporated because of temperature of the surrounding as it is exposed to the environment. So extra water is given for the curing. Okay, when it gains initial strength. Understood? So this is about curing of concrete. So there are different methods of curing. Okay, different methods of curing are available. So what are those? Is water curing, membrane curing, application of heat, and other methods. Some other methods are also there. We have seen in the definition of curing. Curing is nothing but providing sufficient moisture content and temperature. Okay, so providing sufficient moisture content and temperature for hydration reaction. So that is curing. Curing is not only providing water to the concrete. Okay, so curing is providing moisture content and temperature to the concrete for the hydration reaction. Okay, so different methods of curing are water curing, membrane curing, application of heat, and some other methods. Let us discuss these methods of curing one by one. So first one is water curing. Okay, curing by water. So in this water curing, 4 types are there. Okay, 4 different types of water curings are there. So first one is called as immersion. Okay, first type of water curing is called as immersion. So what we are doing here is slab is kept inside water tank. Okay, if you are having any small concrete structure, okay, like if it is your ready-made slab, okay, which is prepared in the concrete factory, okay, if it is a precast concrete member, okay, so you will do the curing for such concrete structures by putting that whole concrete structure inside the water tank. Even if it is a concrete this one, concrete cube, okay, if it is a concrete cube, if it is a concrete beam, if it is a concrete cylinder which is used in the which we will use in the concrete lab for the testing, okay, to know the strength of concrete, we will prepare the concrete beam or cylinder or concrete cube. So those will be, after preparing, we will do the curing for those concrete structures. by putting those structures inside the concrete tank, inside the water tank. Okay, as those are small structures, if it is little big, then your concrete water tank also has to be very big. Your water tank also should be big if it is a little bit big structure like slab. Okay, so there, if you are doing the curing for the concrete structure by putting the whole structure inside the water tank, then this type of curing is called as immersion. Name itself indicates. Okay, immersion is nothing but putting inside the another thing, right? So that is immersion. So here your whole concrete structure will be kept inside the water tank. Okay, so this type of curing is called as immersion. Okay, second type of water curing. Second type of water curing is nothing but ponding. It is called as ponding. So what is ponding? Roof slab is filled with water. Okay, this is a very normal and very largely used method of curing for the slab construction. Okay, so after putting the after construction of the slab, if suppose today is our slab construction, we have put concrete to the slab, then next day, that is tomorrow they'll come and they'll make the ponds, and water will stay inside the ponds. Okay, small ponds they'll construct. How many of you have seen this ponding for the slab construction? Raise your hands, let me see how many of you have seen ponding by water curing by ponding. Suppose this is your slab, then they'll make the ponds. Okay, like this. Inside they'll make small ponds. Okay, then inside this ponds the water will stay. Okay, you'll make the water to stand inside this. Okay, so inside this pond there will be water. Okay, here water will be there, and here water will be there, here water will be there, here water will be there. Okay, so you'll make your water to stand inside the ponds. Okay, for the slab construction, after the slab construction, to do the curing, we will make the ponds, and we will keep these ponds always full. Okay, so what so that this water will provide a sufficient moisture content and temperature to the slab for curing. Understood? So how many of you have seen? Raise your hands once again if you have understood it now. Only 3 people have seen. Okay, good. So if you go to any construction site, you should observe the things. So what they are doing, how they are doing, why they are doing. Okay, so if you are normally walking on a road also, you should watch the construction sites. Okay, construction of any building or any complex or anything, if construction is going on, you should observe the things. Okay, so this is called as ponding. Third type of water curing is called as spraying. It is called as spraying. Water spray on concrete wall. Okay, so spraying, this is also very common type of curing the concrete. Here how they will cure? They'll use a pipe. Okay, pipe from which water will be coming out. They will spray the water on the concrete structure, whether it is a column, whether it is a beam, whether it is a wall, or whatever it is. The curing is done by spraying the water by using a water pipe. Okay, so this is called as spraying. So last method is last type of water curing is wet covering. Okay, wet covering. Here we will cover the concrete structure by using gunny bags. What do you mean by gunny bag? Okay, gunny bag is nothing but bags which is used for filling this one wheat or jawar. You might have seen in the markets, or you might have if you purchase any jawar or wheat, they'll fill it in the gunny bags, and those bags may occupy more amount of water. It can hold more amount of water. How many of you have seen gunny bags? Did you understand what is gunny bag? Okay, so those gunny bags are used for curing the concrete structure. Okay, they'll put it on the concrete structure and they'll make it wet, so that gunny bag will hold more amount of water and it will keep the surface of concrete wet. Okay, this is called as wet covering. Okay, not only gunny bags, you can use some other clothes or anything to keep the surface of concrete wet. Okay, to keep the surface of concrete wet, if you are using anything, so that is called as wet covering. Mostly we will use gunny bags only. You might have seen in the road construction also, if they have constructed any new concrete road, they'll put the gunny bags, or they'll put the paddies of rice. Okay, that also holds the water. Okay, so this is about curing. Okay, water curing. So in water curing we have 4 types: immersion, ponding, spraying, and wet covering. Okay, next, second method of curing is membrane curing. Okay, this method of curing is membrane curing. So what is membrane curing? Concrete surface is covered by plastic membrane. Okay, so here we are covering the surface of concrete by a plastic. Okay, a big plastic membrane. Okay, a big plastic we will cover on the surface of concrete. Okay, it is used where water availability is less. Plastic sheet reduces evaporation in concrete. Membrane is applied after 2 days of water curing. Okay, so what is membrane curing? In membrane curing, we are covering the concrete surface with the help of plastic membrane, or with big plastic we are covering the concrete surface. Okay, so why we do this is, if we don't cover the concrete structure, so whatever the water you have provided for curing to the concrete structure, so that water, more than it is used for curing, most amount of the water will get evaporated because it is exposed to the environment, or because of the surrounding temperature. It will get evaporated. Okay, and if suppose we are having scarcity of water in that area. Okay, if suppose the availability of water in that area is very less, and you have the scarcity of water and it is very difficult to get the water, so at that time you will provide a sheet of plastic on the surface of concrete. Okay, so initial 2 days you have to do a normal curing. After 2 days you do the curing and cover the concrete surface with the help of a plastic membrane. Okay, if any water content is there which is getting evaporated, then because of the plastic, okay, because of the plastic sheet which is there above the concrete surface, that it will get evaporated, and it will become water drops on the surface of plastic only. Inside surface of the plastic, it will fall down to the concrete surface. Understood? So if you are having scarcity of water and availability of water is very less, so in those areas you can use membrane curing. Okay, so this will require a very less amount of water for curing. Okay, very less amount of water will be required for curing of concrete structure. Is it clear? So this is a second method of curing the concrete. So third method of curing concrete is application of heat. Okay, so it is called as application of heat. So here it is: spraying of steam on concrete provides heat and moisture. Okay, so in application of heat, you are not using the water. Okay, you are not using water here. What you are using? You are using steam. So what is steam? Steam is nothing but evaporated water, which is present in the gaseous form. Okay, we are not using water here. We are using steam. What is steam? Steam is the evaporated water. Okay, when you boil the water, okay, when you heat the water and boil it, so when it is boiling, what will happen? The water will get evaporated. Okay, it will become it will become steam and it will get evaporated. So that steam you will take and you will spray the steam on the surface of concrete. Steam is in the form of gas. Okay, steam is in the form of gas. Okay, it is a gaseous form. So you will give the steam to the surface of concrete. So what will happen? Steam will means it is hot. Okay, it has become when the water is boiled to a high temperature. Okay, so when you apply the steam to the concrete surface, this steam, when it cools down, it will become water drops. Okay, so it will give moisture to the concrete surface, and also it will give the heat to the concrete. Okay, this application of heat, that is spraying steam on the surface of concrete structure, gives heat to the concrete as well as moisture content to the concrete. Okay, higher temperature accelerates hydration rate and strength of concrete is attended. Okay, so why we use application of heat is because if you want to get more strength of concrete in less time. Okay, if you want to gain more strength of concrete in less time, so at that time the curing will be done by the application of heat. Okay, if you provide heat to the concrete, okay, if you give steam to the concrete, so as the steam is hot, the temperature will be more. Okay, you will provide a higher temperature to the concrete structure and you will provide the moisture content also. So as the temperature of the concrete structure increases, the gain of strength also increases. Okay, it will reach more strength in less time and curing is also done. Okay, so you see third point, early strength of structure is obtained. Okay, you will get more strength in less time by providing the curing by application of heat. Okay, steam application possible at precast factory only. Okay, this type of curing you cannot use at the construction site. You cannot use this type of curing in the construction site. Okay, at the construction site it is completely open to the environment. So if you spray the heat to the concrete surface, okay, if you spray the steam to the concrete surface, that steam will go off. Okay, it will go off. It will not stay on the concrete surface. Okay, it will get evaporated. As it is in the form of gas, it goes off. Okay, so this type of curing is done at precast factories only. Okay, in the factory they will maintain a room for curing by the application of heat. Okay, and also in the precast factories, the structure is made. Okay, concrete structure will be readily made. So what they will do is you will order the concrete structure. Okay, in the factory you will tell them that I need a slab of this much dimension. Okay, 2 meter by 3 meter size of the concrete slab I need, and the thickness of slab should be around 15 centimeter. Okay, you will give the order and you will tell them that I need a column of this much size. Okay, so then they should construct that, right? And you will be requiring it within a few days. Okay, I need it in 5 days, I need it in 10 days. But if you normally construct the concrete, then it will gain its strength in 28 days. But you don't have that much of time. You want your order within a short period of time, within few days. So at that time they will use this type of curing to gain more strength in the less time. Understood? Precast, pre-stressed concrete girders of bridge are cured with steam for fast construction of bridge. Okay, so this type of curing is also used for precast, pre-stressed concrete girders. Okay, which is used in the construction of bridge. For the faster construction, they'll use this type of curing for the construction of bridges. Understood application of heat. Okay. Next, last type of curing is high pressure steam curing. Okay, so in the previous slide we have seen curing by steam, and here it is high pressure steam curing. Okay, so superheated steam at high pressure, that is 8.5 kgs per centimeter square, and high temperature as of 175 degrees Celsius is applied on concrete. Okay, in the previous one, that is steam curing, we have seen a normal steam is sprayed on the concrete structure in the factory, but the difference between that one and this one is that this high pressure steam curing is at higher level, is above than normal steam curing. Okay, in high pressure steam curing we are providing the here we are not spraying the steam. Here we are giving high pressure of steam to the concrete structure. In the previous one we are spraying the steam on the concrete surface. Here we are providing the steam to the concrete with high pressure, and that the pressure is of 8.5 kg per centimeter square. With this much pressure we are putting, or we are pressurizing the steam on concrete. Okay, and the temperature of steam is not normal. The temperature of steam here is 175 degrees Celsius. Okay, the temperature of steam is 175 degrees Celsius. This process is called autoclaving. Okay, this process of curing is called as autoclaving. 28 days strength of concrete is achieved in one day. Just imagine. Okay, just imagine. So the total strength of the concrete structure that you will get in 28 days. Okay, in 28 days of curing, the total strength of the concrete structure that you are getting, so that much of strength can be gained just in one day. Okay, in one day only you can gain the strength of 28 days. Understood? So concrete becomes sulfate resistance. Okay, so one more advantage you can see, if you are preparing a concrete structure for a very fast construction by providing curing by high pressure steam and curing, so that type of structures will gain the resistance to the sulfate attack. Okay, it will gain the resistance to the sulfate attack. Okay, your concrete become sulfate resistant. If there is an attack of sulfate on the concrete surface, then your concrete will be able to withstand that. One more advantage, low shrinkage in concrete. Okay, there will not be shrinkage. Shrinkage is nothing but change in volume. So as your concrete dries, there will be change in the volume of concrete. So that also will not be there in high pressure steam curing. It is used in production of cellular concrete products like Siporex or Celcrete. So this type of curing is used for the production of cellular concrete products. So this is all about curing. Okay, so we have completed curing also. Our last stage of producing concrete is finishing of concrete. Okay, so finishing is the last operation of concrete making. Okay, so finishing of concrete is not there in your syllabus. Okay, let me go back and see. It is not there in your syllabus. Just Let's see. So this is the syllabus. Types of batching, mixing, transportation, placing, including pumping and compaction techniques for good quality of concrete. Okay, so till we have here we have completed. Next is workability of concrete and its measurements, segregation and bleeding. Curing of concrete we have completed just now. Different methods of measuring workability, temperature effect on fresh concrete, use of admixture. Okay, finishing is not there. Okay, so finishing of concrete is not there in your syllabus. Okay, but still I'll explain you just for your understanding. Okay, finishing is the last operation of concrete making. Finishing of top surface is required in roads, airports, strips, and home floor. Okay, finishing is nothing but providing a good surface or surface finished. Okay, it should be a smooth surface. So methods of finishing are formwork finish, surface treatment, and applied finishes. So these are the three types of finishing. Okay, in formwork finish, concrete obeys the shape of formwork. Okay, whatever the shape of formwork is there, so it will take the shape of that formwork. Grooves and linings on the formwork plate gives makes grooves and linings on the concrete. Prefabricated tiles can be made of any design. Okay, if suppose your formwork is not clean, if it is not properly smooth on the surface, or finishing is not good, then if it is having any lines, if it is having any grooves or threads, then your concrete, when it becomes, it will take the shape of that formwork only. Okay, then surface treatment. Domestic floor should be smooth, wear resistance, and crack free. Okay, so if it is a surface of the floor, then it should be smooth. Okay, surface should be smooth and it should be wear resistant. It means if you are sweeping, or if you are doing any kind of work on the floor, so because of that work, your concrete should not wear out. Okay, it should not wear out, it should be crack free. Okay, mixer should have good proportion without excess matrix. Okay, the mix of concrete that we have prepared, okay, it should not have excess amount of water. Okay, when you are preparing a concrete, you should prepare with all precautions. You should have a good mix of concrete. Expose the aggregate finish, colored pebbles on the top layer of wall. Okay, so if you want to give a surface treatment to give a good look, so at that time you can expose the aggregates on the surface of floors or on the surface of concrete wall. Then you can color those aggregates which are there inside the concrete and which is visible from the top surface. Okay, it will give a good look. Then is next is brush hammering. Electrically operated brush with teeth, when applied on the concrete, removes top cement layer, exposes aggregate, and makes shining aggregate. Okay, so brush hammering is used. It will be the brush hammering is electrically operated. Okay, with the help of current you will use it, and it is having a brush, and that brush will be having a teeth. Okay, so when you put it on the surface of concrete, it will remove the top surface of cement mortar. Okay, top surface of cement mortar will be removed, and inside which aggregates, okay, coarse aggregate which are there, it will be exposed. Okay, those will be exposed, and this method will give shining to the aggregate. Okay, it will give the shining to the aggregate and it will look good. Okay, next is applied finish. Applied finish, rough cast finish. Mixture of cement, sand, rough gravel is applied on the wall. Okay, if you want to provide a finishing as rough, then you have to prepare a mixture of cement, sand, and round gravel. Okay, round gravel is nothing but from the river sand you will get round gravel. Okay, it is like small stones, pebbles, which is having good finishing. Okay, surface finishing of those pebbles or those small gravels will be good, it will be smooth. So those you have to take, and you have to prepare of mixture of cement and sand. Cement, sand, water, and these round gravels. So these things you have to take, and you have to apply on the surface of wall. Non-slip finish. Okay, you have to apply on the surface of wall, and that also will look good. Okay, so that is applied finish. Next is non-slip finish. Railway platform and walkway around the pool are given non-slippery finish by making large size sand particles in floor concrete. Okay, nowadays we are not using non-slip finish for in the concrete. We are directly using paver blocks or interlock blocks we are using to give a rough surface. Okay, this type of finishing is required in the surrounding of swimming pools, or in the walkways, or in the railway platforms, where you should have a rough surface, because it should not be slippery. If it is a smooth surface, if there is any water which is there on the surface, if any person is walking, he will slip. Okay, that's why if you want a rough surface or not slippery surface, you should give the you should make the finishing by using large size sand particles. Okay, with the help of large size sand particles, you have to prepare a concrete and you have to lay it down. Okay, then you will get a non slippery surface. Okay, so this completes finishing. Is there any doubts? So I have completed all the stages of producing concrete now. Within tomorrow or day after tomorrow, I will complete this chapter. If you have any kind of a doubt, you please ask me. I will clarify your doubt. Okay, these all 7 stages of producing concrete I have completed. In any of these stage, if you are having any doubt, you can ask me. Okay, one of your friend is asking me to explain in Hindi. Okay, I will explain in Hindi from the next class onwards. Okay, I'll explain in English only, but simultaneously, I will explain in Hindi also. If you would have told me in the beginning itself, in the starting of the subject, I would have explained in Hindi also. But now you are asking, so I'll continue in English as well as in Hindi from the next class onwards. So how many of you want Hindi also? Please let me know. If you want in Hindi also, I should know how many of you want in Hindi also. Please raise your hands, sir. I'll get to know. Hindi as well as English. How many of you need both the languages? Okay, fine. Many of you want in Hindi also. Okay, from the next class onwards, I'll explain in Hindi as well as in English also. Okay. So this much is enough for today's class. We have completed all the stages of producing concrete. So remaining some topics are there. So this only was the major thing in this topic. Okay, in this chapter. So whatever we have completed till now, this was the major part. So we have completed that. Within next class or one more class, I will complete the 3rd chapter. Then we will start with the 4th chapter. Okay. So now I'll take your attendance and we'll stop the class.